Ladies, let me tell you something right now. Being an older woman doesn't mean you're out of the game. In fact, it means you're sharper, wiser, and more experienced than most. But here's where I see a lot of strong, mature women making mistakes. They give away too much too soon. They sit across from a man, and before he even earns their trust, they hand him the keys to their entire world. That's dangerous. You can't show every card in your hand because not every man is prepared, mature, or even worthy of holding those secrets. See, men are like hunters. If you make the hunt too easy, if you lay down the prize before he's even proven he deserves it, he'll lose interest. That's not because you're not valuable. It's because you made your value look like it came cheap. You can be fine, successful, and beautiful, but the wrong move will let a man misuse what he knows about you. That's why I always tell women, never reveal certain things to a man until he's proven his character. Now let me break it down for you. 5 secrets you should never share with a man too soon. Number 1, never tell a man your full financial details. Ladies, money changes how people treat you. If he knows your income, your savings, your investments, and you've only just started dating, you give him power to size you up wrong. He may either start leaning on you or start competing with you or even get intimidated. A real man will show his character regardless of your wallet. Don't let your bank account become your burden. Ladies, let me talk to you about something I've seen time and time again. Women, especially older women who have worked hard, built their lives, and achieved stability, often make one mistake that costs them more than they realize. They meet a man, maybe he's charming, maybe he looks like he's got his act together, maybe he talks sweet, and before they know it, they're telling him every little detail about their financial life. I'm talking bank accounts, retirement savings, the value of the house, the car payments, the investments, the inheritance, even how much they're planning for the future. Let me tell you something. That's not information you just give away. That's a privilege, and not every man deserves that privilege. See, money is powerful. It changes how people look at you. The moment a man knows how much you make or how much you've saved, it shifts something in the dynamic. Some men, not all, but some, will size you up and start calculating what they can get from you instead of what they can build with you. Instead of looking at you as a partner, they look at you like an opportunity. And that's where the danger comes in. Because what started out as interest, as attraction, as curiosity, can very quickly turn into dependence, manipulation, or intimidation. Now, think about it. If you meet a man and within a couple of weeks, he already knows your salary down to the dollar, or how much equity you've got in your home, what's he going to do with that information? A man with bad intentions will use it to decide how much effort he needs to put in, or how much he can lean on you. He might not even say it outright, but suddenly you find yourself paying for dinners all the time, taking care of little things, covering expenses he should be handling as a grown man. And little by little, the balance of respect starts tipping away. Ladies, it's not about hiding who you are. You should be proud of what you've built. You should celebrate the fact that you've worked, saved, and created a life of security. But understand this, not everybody gets to see the treasure map. If a man really cares for you, he's going to show it through his consistency, his protection, his respect, and his effort. He should be demonstrating his value, not counting yours. And let me flip the script for a second. If you sit down with a man and he immediately tells you about his bank account, his savings, his property, and everything he owns, what would you think? You'd probably start questioning if he's trying to buy your attention or if he doesn't believe he has anything else to offer. Well, the same goes the other way. When you give away that financial information too soon, you're not letting him see the real you. You're letting him see the numbers, not the person. And numbers can be used against you, twisted, manipulated, or even disrespected. A good man isn't worried about your wallet. He's worried about your heart, your character, your spirit, and the life he can build with you. A man who's only interested in what you can provide is not a partner, he's a passenger. And if you're not careful, he'll make you the driver, the gas, and the whole car while he just sits back for the ride. So protect that information. Keep your financial life private until a man has proven through time, through consistency, and through action that he's worthy of sharing in that part of your world. Because if you don't, you risk turning your independence into a burden and your success into bait. And a woman of value, especially one who's lived enough life to know better, should never let her hard-earned security become a trap set by the wrong man. Number 2, don't tell him everything about your past relationships. I don't care if you were married before, divorced, cheated on, or hurt. Keep some of that private, because some men will use your pain as a manual on how to treat you. If you tell him your ex never appreciated you, he might give you just enough appreciation to keep you hooked, but he won't respect you. Don't hand him the playbook of your vulnerabilities. When you sit across from a man and start pouring out the whole story of your past relationships, you think you're being honest, you think you're being transparent, but what you're really doing is giving him a blueprint. You're handing him the manual on how to deal with you. And not every man deserves that kind of access. Some men will take what you tell them and use it to love you better, but others will take those same words and use them to play you. That's why you've got to be careful about what you reveal and when you reveal it. A lot of women feel like they need to get it all out. They sit down and say, well, my ex didn't treat me right. He didn't listen. He never took me out. He cheated on me. He broke my trust. And while you might think you're just sharing your story, what a man hears is a list of buttons he can push. If you tell him your ex never complimented you, he might give you compliments in the beginning just to hook you, not because he genuinely values you. If you tell him your ex never had time for you, he'll make time early on. But once he feels like he's got you, he can slip right back into the same patterns. He's not building something real with you. He's just using the information you gave him as a shortcut. And here's the hard truth. Some men listen not to understand, but to strategize. They're not interested in healing your wounds. They're interested in knowing where those wounds are so they can control you. If a man knows you've been cheated on before, he might use that fear against you by keeping you uncertain or insecure. If he knows you've been abandoned, he might dangle his presence over your head so you'll do whatever it takes to keep him. You see how that works. What you thought was honesty becomes ammunition. Now, I'm not saying you should lie about your past or pretend you don't have one. Everybody's got a story, and there's no shame in that. But the story of your past is sacred. You don't give it away to just anybody who buys you dinner or talks sweet for a couple of weeks. A man has to earn the right to know that side of you. And the way he earns it is not by asking the right questions, but by proving through action that he's safe, dependable, and consistent. Until then, all he needs to know is the woman you are today, not the woman you used to be. And ladies, let me tell you something else. When you spend too much time talking about your past relationships, you risk keeping yourself tied to them. The more you talk about what your ex did or didn't do, the more you allow that old energy to live in your present. And any man who's truly serious about you doesn't want to sit there and feel like he's competing with ghosts. He wants to know you, the strong and beautiful version standing in front of him, not the broken pieces from years ago. So protect your story. Save it for the man who's already shown through patience and time that he's here to stay. Don't hand it over as a test or as a way to make him understand you. Let him put in the work to discover who you are, because the right man isn't going to need the manual on how to treat you. He'll know it instinctively by the respect he carries for you. And when you finally do share your past, it'll be safe, because he won't use it to play games. He'll use it to love you better. Number 3, don't reveal your deepest insecurities. Everybody's got them, But a man needs to see you in your strength before he's ever allowed to see your weakness. If you open the door to your insecurities too early, the wrong man will use them to control you instead of protect you. Everybody's got insecurities. Every single person walking this earth has something about themselves that they're not proud of, something they try to hide, or something that makes them feel less than what they really are. But the mistake a lot of women make, especially women who are seasoned, mature, who've lived through things, is that they feel like they owe a man the truth of all their insecurities right out the gate. They think if they put it all out there, I don't like my body. I'm scared of being left. I feel like I'm not good enough. I'm worried I'm too old. I'm not as confident as I look. That somehow this honesty will create a bond. But here's the truth. All it really does is hand the wrong man the keys to your weaknesses. Men are not wired like women. When a woman hears about a man's struggles, she feels closer to him. She feels more trusted. She feels like it's her job to nurture that space. But when the wrong man hears about your insecurities, he doesn't always nurture them. Sometimes he stores them away and waits for the right moment to use them against you. If you tell a man you're afraid of being alone, he might keep you dangling, never committing, but always present just enough to feed your fear. If you tell him you don't feel beautiful without makeup, he might withhold compliments to keep you chasing his approval. If you admit that you're scared of aging, he might make little jokes or remarks that cut deep, not to build you up, but to keep you down. And ladies, here's something you need to understand. A man needs to see your strength before he earns the right to see your weaknesses. That doesn't mean you have to act like you're perfect, but it does mean you don't lay all your fears and flaws on the table before you know who you're dealing with. A man who's serious about you, a man who values you, he's going to respect the fact that you've got vulnerabilities, and when the time is right, he'll protect them. But a man who doesn't have your best interest at heart will take those same vulnerabilities and twist them into tools of control. Think about it like this. If you walk into a boxing ring, you don't walk up to your opponent and say, hey, just so you know, my left side is weak. I can't block punches well, and my jaw's a little soft. You'd never do that because you know the other fighter would immediately go for your weak spots. Well, dating is no different. Until a man has shown you that he's not your opponent, but your partner, you don't hand him the map to your tender places. What you need to do is carry yourself in your strength. Show him the confident, capable, secure version of yourself. That doesn't mean you never have insecurities. It just means you don't lead with them. You lead with your value. You let him see your glow, your wisdom, your laughter, your spirit. That's what he should be drawn to first. Then, when he's proven that he's consistent, when he's shown that he doesn't just want your body, but wants your heart, when he's invested time, energy, and respect, that's when you can start letting him into those more delicate parts of your soul. Because the right man won't see your insecurities as weaknesses. He'll see them as places where he can love you deeper. He won't weaponize them, he'll guard them. He won't make you feel smaller because of them. He'll stand taller beside you to make sure you feel safe. But you don't find that out in the first few weeks. You don't discover that on the first few dates. That comes with time, with patience, with watching how a man acts when things don't go his way. That's how you know if he deserves access to the parts of you that the world doesn't get to see. So stop giving your insecurities to men like free samples. They're not free, they're valuable, and they need to be handled with care. Make a man earn the right to see those sides of you, and when he does, you'll know that your vulnerability is in safe hands. Number 4, don't tell him all your family secrets. Your family business is your family business. If he hasn't put a ring on it, if he hasn't earned the right to sit at your table, he doesn't get to hear the private struggles of your household. Protect your family's dignity and keep those matters sacred. One of the quickest ways a woman can put herself in a bad position with a man is by opening up too soon about her family business. I'm talking about telling him all the drama, all the secrets, all the struggles your people have been through. You think you're just venting. You think you're building closeness. But in reality, you're handing him details about your private world that he hasn't earned yet. And once that door is open, you can't close it again. Family is sacred. Your mother, your father, your children, your siblings, even your extended relatives. That's the foundation of who you are. And when you tell a man every fight, every falling out, every debt, every mistake, you strip away the protection around your family. Suddenly this man, who's barely known you a few weeks or months, is walking around with information that doesn't belong to him. And what happens if it doesn't work out? What happens if he's not who you thought he was? Now somebody out there who never really cared about you in the first place is walking around with your family's private business in his pocket. I've seen women do this because they want to be understood. They think if I tell him about how my father abandoned us, he'll understand why I'm protective. If I tell him about how my sister struggles, he'll know why I work so hard. If I tell him about how my mother depended on me, he'll appreciate my strength. But the wrong man doesn't hear your truth as a reason to respect you. He hears it as a weakness he can exploit. He might use your family drama as an excuse not to commit. He might say, you've got too much going on, or your family's too messy, and walk away after he's already gotten what he wanted. Or worse, he might stick around just to stir the pot, to bring up those issues when he wants to knock you off balance. And don't think men don't do this. I've heard men throw women's family situations right back in their face during arguments. That's why your brother's in trouble. That's why your daddy left. That's why your kids don't respect you. Those are low blows, and they cut deep, but they're only possible if you gave him the ammunition in the first place. Protect your family the way you'd protect your own heart. A man who truly loves you doesn't need to know every detail of your family's struggles right away. He needs to know who you are in the present, how you carry yourself, how you love, how you respect others. The details about your family that comes with time, and only when he's proven that he's not just passing through, but that he's here to build something real. And let's be honest, your family isn't perfect, but neither is his. Everybody's got skeletons. Everybody's got stories they don't tell outside the house. You're not obligated to put your family's imperfections on display just to make somebody understand you. If anything, the way you protect your family's dignity tells a man a whole lot more about your values than the details of what's gone wrong. So the next time you're tempted to sit down with a man and tell him every secret, every fight, every piece of family history, pause and ask yourself, has he earned this information? Has he shown me that he'll protect it the way I would? Or am I giving away something precious to someone who hasn't even proven if he's sticking around? A real man, the kind of man who wants a future with you, isn't going to run from the fact that you have a complicated family. He's going to respect that you kept it private until you knew you could trust him. And when you finally do let him into that circle, he's going to treat that knowledge like the privilege it is. Your family is your foundation. Don't hand it over casually. Guard it until you know he's worthy of being part of it. Number 5, don't tell him you don't need a man. I know, ladies, you've been strong, independent, raising kids, building businesses, doing it all by yourself. But when you sit across from a man and tell him, I don't need a man, you strip away his purpose. A man needs to feel needed, not financially, not to complete you, but to be part of your world. You can be strong without pushing away the idea of partnership. One of the strongest statements I hear women say, especially older women who've been through life, raised kids, built careers, and survived heartbreak, is, I don't need a man. And I get where it comes from. It comes from years of carrying the weight, years of having to be both the provider and the nurturer, years of being let down by people who promised they'd stay but didn't. Saying you don't need a man is like building a shield. It's a way of saying, I've got this and nobody's going to hurt me again. But here's the truth. When you look a man in the eye and tell him you don't need him, what he hears is that there's no space for him in your life. Men are wired to provide, to protect, to contribute. That doesn't mean you're helpless without them, but it does mean they need to feel like their presence matters. When you tell a man flat out that you don't need him, you strip away his purpose before he's even had a chance to show you who he is. And the wrong man might take advantage of that by deciding he doesn't have to try. He'll think, well, she doesn't need me anyway, so I can come and go as I please. I don't have to step up. I don't have to commit. I don't have to give her my best. And now you've created a situation where you're doing it all by yourself while he reaps the benefits of your independence. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being independent. Independence is powerful. A woman who can stand on her own 2 feet is attractive. But independence doesn't mean shutting the door on companionship. Independence means you choose to share your life, not because you have to, but because you want to. There's a big difference between saying, I don't need a man, and saying, I'm whole, but I'm open to a partner who adds to my life. One closes the door, the other keeps it open for the right one to walk in. And here's another thing. A lot of women use, I don't need a man, as a defense mechanism. But deep down, they want love. They want companionship. They want someone to share life with. There's nothing weak about wanting that. The problem is when you act like you attract men who take you at your word. They don't invest because they don't feel like you need them. They don't commit because they believe you've got it handled on your own. And the men who do want to invest, the good ones, sometimes walk away because they feel like you've already told them you don't have room for them. Men need to feel needed, not in the sense of paying your bills or fixing every problem in your life, but in the sense of being a meaningful part of your world. A good man wants to feel like his presence makes your life better, like his love matters to you, like his effort is appreciated. That's what fuels him. That's what makes him stay. When you make him feel unnecessary, you take away the very thing that keeps him motivated to love you the right way. So instead of saying, I don't need a man, shift the language. Say, I'm complete on my own, but I'm open to the right man. Say, I can stand tall by myself, but I'd love someone who knows how to stand tall beside me. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's balance. That's knowing your worth without pushing away the possibility of love. You've done enough in life to know you can survive without a man. That's not even a question. But surviving is not the same as thriving. Thriving means allowing space for someone who can love you, respect you, and share the load. And when you stop using that phrase as a shield, you create space for a man who's not intimidated by your strength, but inspired by it. Number 6, make men earn access to your secrets, trust, and heart. Too many women make the mistake of giving a man everything before he's proven he deserves it. They meet someone new, get excited, feel a little spark, and right away they start handing over their trust, their time, their energy, their secrets, even their bodies, as if just showing up makes a man worthy. But here's the truth, a man has to earn that. If you don't make him earn access to you, he won't value it. Men appreciate what they work for, not what they're handed for free. Think about it. When you were raising kids, did you give them every single thing they asked for without them proving they were responsible? Of course not. You wanted them to show you they could handle it first. If you bought your son a car, you expected him to keep his grades up, to respect the rules, to show maturity. If you gave your daughter freedom, it was because she proved she could be trusted with it. So why is it that when it comes to men, some women forget all about standards and just open the door wide open? A relationship is no different. You've got to make a man earn the privilege of knowing you on a deeper level. A man who really wants you will have no problem putting in the effort. He'll call, he'll show up, he'll plan, he'll be consistent because he sees your value and he doesn't mind working for it. But when you give everything up front, your trust, your loyalty, your heart, your secrets, you rob yourself of the chance to see what he's really made of. Because now he doesn't have to try anymore. He doesn't have to prove himself. He's already got what he came for. And if he's not serious, he'll start pulling back, leaving you wondering what went wrong. That's why boundaries matter. Boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They separate the ones who are serious from the ones who are just passing through. A man who's genuinely interested in you won't run away because you set standards. He'll lean in. He'll respect those boundaries because he knows what he's working toward. The ones who get frustrated, the ones who say you're too difficult, the ones who claim you're asking for too much, those are the ones who were never planning to give you what you deserve in the first place. And here's another thing. When you make a man earn your trust, your secrets, your love, you're teaching him how to value you. You're saying, I'm not just anybody. I've lived, I've learned, I've grown, and I'm not giving away my worth to someone who hasn't proven theirs. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. And believe me, men recognize it. A man might not admit it out loud, but when he has to work for a woman, when he has to prove himself, he values her more. She becomes someone he sees as a prize, not a convenience. You've got to remember, you are the gatekeeper. You decide who gets in and who doesn't. Not every man deserves a front row seat to your heart. Not every man should know your struggles, your insecurities, your private life. That access should be reserved for the one who's shown through time, consistency, and action that he's worthy. And that's the key. It's not about what he says, it's about what he does. Words are cheap, effort is expensive. Let his effort pay the price for your trust. So stop handing over the keys before a man has even proven he knows how to drive. Make him earn the right to love you. Make him earn the right to know you. Make him earn the right to stand beside you. Because when you hold yourself to that standard, the wrong men will fall away on their own and the right one will rise to the challenge. And in the end, you won't just have a man, you'll have the right man, one who values you because he had to work to win you.